I'm Anthony Forrest, the president of Steel Cod, and I'm here with John Beresford, our VP of Sales, ready to discuss all things appliances. All right, John, this episode is a requested episode and properly requested because it's certainly a conversation we need to have, and that's talking top-load washers, specifically the Agitator version versus the Impeller version. You know, customers might have experienced with one or the other, might lean towards one or the other. Visually, they lean one way or the other kind of very clearly.
Mhm.
There's tradition worked in, there's what I've always had, there's features that come along. There's a lot that come along with this, but honestly, it's a kind of a pretty clear one here. So how do you want to start this?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think most people do walk into with a take on this one, and normally what you hear is agitators are rough on clothes for the people that are pro impeller, which are few and far between, I think. And then the other ones, are impellers are better for clothes overall. But my argument to that is that uh, none of that is really complete, right? It's not complete thinking, right? This has nothing to do with preference or anything like that. It's more about system behavior more than anything else, right? It's how the system behaves once it's under what I would consider real use when a customer takes over. And I think that's the part that nobody really kind of fully explains, whether it's the customer on trying to make a decision or even sometimes the salesperson not fully explaining the difference between the two.
All right, then let's get right into it, especially because we talk about ownership all the time and what it's going to look like at home. I mean, especially with washers, such a different experience from looking at it in the showroom to stuffing some clothes in and trying to get them clean. So let's talk about the difference here.
Yeah.
Let's start with agitators.
Yeah, and listen, right off the top, like, let's talk about this, right? Because both systems can clean, okay? The question is
Right.
really what happens when the load isn't perfect, right? And I think that's where the difference shows up. So when we look at agitators, right? The great part about an agitator and having an agitator is it forces separation between your clothes at all times, right? It does help create movement and break that load up as a result. But it just really, to sum it up, it controls the load, right? It doesn't care if you overload it. It doesn't care if everything gets kind of thrown in together at once in a pile. It keeps things moving along. It keeps water circulating, right? It keeps items from really kind of locking together. So even when the user, and let's call them sloppy because we get dragged in the comments for saying other stuff anyways, but even when the user is sloppy, right? The system can compensate for those types of things, and that's why customers love it, and quite frankly, that's why it does, survive in this day and age of all these better laundry products that are out there. Top loaders with agitators still have an absolute following out there because they do work. They meet expectations.
All right, so let's talk about impellers because impellers is such an interesting experience for the customer in the showroom because you open up the top and you're like, look at all this room. How great is this going to be? Or maybe things you've heard about it in terms of efficiency. What's actually the
Yeah.
scenario when you get an impeller washer home?
Yeah, and therein lies the biggest problem, right? The first thing is that I'll say is that if you don't know this, impellers require absolute ideal conditions, okay? The system depends heavily on the load behaving correctly, okay? And by that, I mean overloading, collapsing, tangling, bundling, poor separation, like saturate, all these different types of things, right? So, you know, if if the load doesn't behave correctly to the machine standards, everything really starts to break down, okay? So the first thing that you're going to notice is that all the clothes start to collapse into the center of the machine. And when that happens, water doesn't move through it evenly, and then you'll start to notice items start to get twisted together. So now you've got parts of the load that are getting washed, and then other parts are barely getting touched at all. You can actually pull out dry clothing in impeller wash that wasn't set up properly. And that's when you hear, well, what the heck? It didn't clean. It's because you didn't give it its ideal conditions in order to be able to perform for you. So there's a lot more math that goes into it.
So let's kind of talk about what you mean by ideal conditions, because you have mixed loads and different types of laundry, different types of materials and that stuff. So what exactly are ideal conditions that are required for the impeller models?
Yeah. So, here's the thing, is that this isn't a defect in the machine, and I don't want to frame it out like it's a defect in the machine necessarily. It's really in a breakdown in how the system is supposed to work, right? So if water can't move through a load, cleaning stops in any machine, right? So you end up with a load that kind of looks washed, but it isn't, and you know, the problem with these machines is they spin around so fast, and there's nothing in the middle that keeps everything separated, so they just start to tangle together, right? And you get complete loss of saturation as a result, right? And that's where we talk about the out, because the outer part is clean and the inner part is not. And again, the important part to note is you have to load these machines the right way in order to get the right so you can't overload it. Just because you have this big huge um machine that you can load up in there, it doesn't mean that you can, right? You actually have to load it like that agitator is present in the center of the machine, just in hopes that they're not going to spin together and tangle up and all that kind of stuff. So there are ideal conditions in order for it to work, and if you don't, it's going to be an abject failure for your all laundry, pretty much.
So before we talk about kind of the sales floor, how to manage this, let's just kind of put it together again in the comparison. What is the actual decision between the impeller model and the agitator model?
It's really controlled versus user dependent. It's an impeller will work if you give it a proper load size, if you don't overload the machine, if you balance the distribution when you put it in there. And what I mean is, like we say, just don't kind of throw everything in there at once. Make sure it's balanced around there. Use the correct cycle, and you know those types of things. And if you do all of those things, the machine will actually work for you, right? The load size, the distribution, the cycles, as long as you have all of that math correct, it'll work for you. So, really, what we're talking about here is a controlled environment that'll basically take whatever you give it and it'll probably do a relatively good job, or a very user dependent environment, right? An agitator is going to control any load you give it very well, and an impeller is going to depend heavily on the user understanding how to use it. That's really it, right? One system's going to manage a load and the other one expects the user to manage it. That's really the biggest difference here.
All right, so let's talk about the experience on the sales floor. So kind of keeping those two things in mind that both can work, but they need to be managed properly. So how should this be managed on the sales floor?
I think that the best way to do this, okay, and I think this is where a lot of people can lose control because maybe they were just never taught this, is a lot of times they'll start explaining the difference. But really, what you want to do here is you really want to start by exposing. Okay. And what we mean by exposing is never lead with product. You actually want to lead with behavior, because this is a behavioral decision. I mean, significantly, right? So, first, start it off pretty broad, right? Hey, walk me through how laundry usually gets done at your house, right? Are you doing full loads? Are you doing mixed loads? Do you take the time to really separate some things out? Through that line of questioning, you're going to start identifying patterns, right? And then from there, you can tighten up the conversation. And, you can ask things like, "Hey, be honest. Do loads ever get packed in all at once? If you have a few things left behind that really shouldn't fit in the machine, do you try to jam them in there? Do things like sheets or towels end up twisted together sometimes in the way that you're doing laundry right now?" Now you're starting to get their usage patterns, right? And again, from there, like we talk about, then you want to pressure test it, right? If the machine needed you, the consumer, to be a little bit more precise and understanding with how you load a machine, do you think that, your household would be able to manage that effectively, or would it just end up being more of a nuisance and you'd go back to your old, behavior and patterns? Again, you put them in a point at there where they have to answer that question, right? And then that's really the moment for you, because if they won't change their behavior, that's essentially what I asked, right? If they don't change their behavior, well, then the decision becomes very easy. You abandon the impeller conversation immediately and you go right to a traditional top loader with an agitator, right? And um, if if it feels like, if it feels like in any way that they're apprehensive to make any changes to their laundry, listen, people are very uh, regimental and territorial and those types of things with their laundry. So it's one of those things you never want to get in the way of. They're going to go where they're going to go. If somebody's open minded and they do want to make some changes, the hardest part for me in terms of explaining these two things, because we always talk about trade offs, right? And trade offs
Mhm.
are always worth getting into as long as there's a payoff. I never found the payoff in getting to an impeller from an agitator. I never really found true value in forcing somebody away from what they always did for the quote unquote payoffs to go to an impeller model. I never saw the true value there because, again, understanding how they need to be loaded and what the risks are involved. What am I really getting at the end of the day between those two things? So I'm sure I kind of jumped the gun because you're going to ask me to pick a winner at some point. But I mean, look, it's just this was always a difficult one for me on the floor because I never fully bought into impeller being a logical choice, understanding the full thing. Now, I understand the marketing, right? The marketing between the two will tell you a completely different story. But in terms of agitator versus impeller, in terms of overall value, and I don't know where you stand on that, but I never really saw the need to push somebody into an impeller model. In fact, I probably pulled more people away from impeller thinking than I did taking an agitator customer into an impeller model.
So I guess I'm going to reach down on the mat and we're going to pick up the impeller off the mat here to at least announce in this versus, because we have to. Well, John, who's your winner?
Yeah, I think it's agitator, and
You think?
it just, again, I'm always going to be in favor of something that works well without asking more from a consumer, right? I think that's really it. Anytime that you have to frame something out as saying it needs ideal conditions, it needs you to be on top of everything that you're doing there. Listen, you know what a laundry day looks like in any home. I don't care how big or small your family is. It can be hectic. It can be annoying. It can be frustrating sometimes because you have other things that you want to do. So now to add in this extra, hey, before you do this, make sure you check these 3 or 4 boxes in order for it to come out right. And again, somebody, if I'm wrong, please educate me on it. What's the real payoff in going to an impeller model from an agitator model? Now, if you want to have a conversation between top loads and front loads, we've got a different conversation there. But within the same category, that traditional top load category, where is the value of going to an impeller model from an agitator model, taking into consideration all of the things that you have to take and consider? Somebody's going to say, oh, well, capacity is much higher. No, it's not. Not when you have to load it with that, with that illusion that the
Right.
agitator is there. You're not getting it. So cubic footage, again, we talk about it being a lie in refrigeration oftentimes because it's really organization that matters. It's the same thing here, right? Just because I can put a bigger number on a spec sheet doesn't mean it's actually usable space. You'd actually be doing yourself a massive disservice if you did try to take advantage of all that extra space that they're giving you. So to me, this is no contest, obviously. I mean, Agitator's a clear winner here.
We drop a new episode every day of the week, including weekends. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.